Hey everybody, this is Movie versus Prequel episode. I believe it's 37. Defense. The podcast in defense of bad movies. That's a thing that I typically say.
Bringing it back around.
And again, we're the three amigos. I'm Chevy Chase, and I am joined by.
You are an asshole.
Steve Martin. Dibs on Steve Martin.
Fuck. so that makes Charlie Martin short, right? That's the third amigo. Yep. And that's
Damn it.
Steve Martin over here. That is, of course, the voice of Steve Janik. Steve, how's it going, Steve?
It's all right, except I no longer have a life outside of studying.
Oh yeah, you're in that. Semester started. I'm guessing for you. You're in the.
I have a test at least one test every other week.
Sexy.
Nice. Have they taken the basket weaving underwater yet?
Yes.
Good.
It's actually free diving and basket.
Oh shit! Okay, that's awesome.
And then Martin Short over here. That is, of course, Charlie Pixley. What's up, Chuck? How's life outside of school?
Pretty bummed out now. And outside of school, I mean, I guess for the last few years, it's been great.
Yeah, same.
Go to hell.
Hey, you'll make more money.
Yeah,
okay,
I was gonna say.
bitch.
I think we've been over it. You're gonna end up making more money than both of us, so we get to make fun of you, nerd.
Let us enjoy it. Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be fine.
Real bookworm over here, always studying. What a nerd.
If I don't, I'll kill someone in the future. I'm going to do that. Anyway.
I was about to say. What if that's your goal? So on these prequel episodes, we really only focus on the movie versus side.
We never really only focus on anything.
So Charlie is going to be assigning the movies. I think he's going on a classic route. We're doing theaters, old school, yeah.
Old school theaters.
4 movies in theaters, and I'm not assigning like you
it's
can
random.
pick from these two. You can pick from these two. I'm gonna have Steve read the titles first, so we can enjoy them all at least, and then I'll put them in the bag, shuffle them, and you can draw. So
all right,
Steve,
cool.
I'm excited.
And other than that, while Steve gets those, other than that, we're just gonna. I mean, I know I'm gonna talk about something that I watched recently. If you guys, I don't know if you guys have watched anything recently to bring up, and then stuff we like. We typically go over that. And Steve, you have the movie titles in front of you. Why don't you grab that hat? Why don't you grab that hat over there?
Right back in.
Yeah. So yeah, read them as. And I'll apologize. I just sniffed, so it reminded me I should probably apologize. These past couple days.
Well, you're not going to waste that Coke.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I guess I shouldn't apologize. No,
Use your gums next time.
He's a savvy investor.
No, you got to read them raw, dude.
No. I'm not looking through them. I just looked at the first one, and then Tyler started talking about nonsense.
Well,
no,
not nonsense. I just want to. My allergies have been pretty bad the past few days. So if there's a lot of sniffing or my voice sounds a little I'm a little clogged up. I'm whatever. So yeah, I just want to apologize for the listeners for that. And then Steve, go ahead and read that. Do read that like you do most things raw.
Okay. Well, the first one is the Nut Butter Job, Creamy by Nature, which is of course the Nut Job 2. I'm guessing. If it's not,
oh wait, that's a fake.
Out?
That's a fake title. Yeah, I thought that was.
I've watched this film several times.
The Nut Butter.
This is a real easy one.
Nut Butter's on my watch list. I thought
the
that was...
Nut Butter franchise is very controversial.
It's in my Netflix queue
for greatest franchise or great franchise.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows if they hold it at number 1 or 2. It's always a point of contention.
This one is the Emotional Gangster Movie, which I'm guessing is Emoji Movie.
Yes.
Which is good. I almost considered, if I had time this week, I was going to go see the Emoji Movie to talk about it.
I mean, regardless of whether you get it or not, you can still see it.
I'm not going to lie, I almost saw it yesterday. Like, yesterday was one of those, like, weekend, peel the curtain back and let everybody know it's not Thursday that we're recording this.
I think we've already mentioned it.
Yeah, probably.
Several times.
It was, I had one of those Saturdays where all I had to do was go to the DMV, and that actually only took like 10 minutes, surprisingly.
Because you got there early.
Yeah, and
it's the middle of the month, not the end.
And I had all of my paperwork, so I just like put it in front of her, and she just eventually was like, "It'll be this much."
She was probably taken aback, first of all.
Yeah, probably.
Well, when I first did that, like I had no idea what I was doing, and like I went in, and like every time she would tell me one thing to go get, and I would come back, she was like, "Do you have this?" And I was like, Can we just give me a
Can we
list?
streamline this?
I am a child at this point still.
Yeah, that happened to me when I got the car that I have now was gifted technically, by the law to me, and my parents were like, "Here's all the information you need to go get this all sorted out. Go do it." And I went, and they were like, "You don't have this stuff. You need to go here." And I was like, "Okay, just tell me everything I need, and I'll just go do it."
Yeah.
And but yeah, I had a Saturday where I had nothing going on. I texted almost like all of my friends to be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And everybody was like, "Oh, I'm doing things." And I was like, maybe I'll just... And I went to the grocery store, and I was just like... Because the theater is right next to the grocery store over here. I don't know why I thought that everybody would know that's listening.
Aren't all grocery stores and theaters in the same building?
Yeah.
The old Sam's Club, Walmart experience?
Yeah, you got the gas station, you got the store, and you got the movie theater.
And then low-income housing.
And then you also have the sandwich shop, the deli, that you can just get a...
when you, me and my friends
and the shittiest Starbucks on earth.
Me and my friends
That's actually the
Sam's
name of the establishment.
Used to always get pizzas from Sam's, and we would sneak in.
Dude, Sam's frozen pizzas are pretty good.
But we couldn't just buy them because none of us had a Sam's card, so we would just sneak in with someone, just be really close to a couple, so they thought we were with them.
Yeah.
And then we would go and get a pizza and take it to the food court, the concession stand thing, and they cook it for you, but you don't need a card. So we could buy the pizza from them, and they use that sweet movable oven, not onion.
Movable onion.
Dude, stationary onions are disgusting.
I'm just letting you know, Steve, you just showed your hand at how much of a fucking loser you might have been when you were younger, because your crimes consisted of sneaking into a Sam's Club
to spend money.
Yeah, to buy their frozen pizza.
Yeah.
That means you're a good person, Steve.
We've established that I am the lamest human being possible.
I just love the idea that you got a group of friends. No, how old were you?
We were probably 16 or 17.
Perfect.
We were
perfect. So a group of teenagers being is standing outside of a Sam's Club and being like, "All right, yeah, she looks good. I think we can do this. Yeah, let's go. Go." And then you guys, it's just you walking with the person.
I mean, that's what it was, and it wasn't like some grand scheme. We were just like, man, we like that pizza, and it's half the price of going and ordering a pizza.
That's funny.
This old folks home, dude, they said they maxed out on their volunteers. Let's sneak in that bitch. Help serve some Thanksgiving dinner.
They won't even know.
We'll talk to them.
Fucking fools.
Another
play euchre.
Another past Sam's Club trivia about us. So when I was a child, I apparently used to hate Sam's Club. Because you
didn't like someone named Sam and you thought it was their club?
No, my parents told me that when I was a baby, an infant, the second they would come into Sam's Club, I would start crying, and the second they would walk out, I would stop.
That's because you're allergic to deals.
No, it doesn't make sense. So much toilet paper. But
you don't like free samples.
No,
either.
it was because
you disgust me.
It was because I hated Walmart. I knew that they were. They were, un-American and against, I was trying to get my parents not to. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Go through these movies.
Yeah, I feel like we've been.
Okay, so the next movie is Vajayjay and the City of 1,000 Dangers.
Vajayjay?
It's dongers, dude. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a vagina joke.
Yep, that is dongers. Yep. Sorry.
It like sex?
My bad.
Next.
So that's Valeria. Valerian or Valeria?
Valerian.
Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets.
Dongers.
I know. It's
I didn't change that part.
I know it's the City of 1,000 Planets because they
say it.
They tell you
multiple
times in the trailer.
The TV spot is actually just them saying that once, and it's about a 30-second spot.
You know that director, I can't remember his name because it's French, but he came out like most
Luc
directors.
Besson or whatever. Right?
It's Luke. Yeah, it's Luke something. Yeah. He came out because that movie bombed. He came out recently, and like all directors do of an original IP. That bombs in theaters and bashed all superhero movies and all it's people are just stupid. And, these other
Valerian
movies
was a
suck.
comic book, though.
Yeah. Exactly.
No,
and he said that?
Yes.
Fucking fool.
Yeah, he was like, they only care about these action. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is a super action movie based off a comic book. You're a piece of shit. You're just mad.
And he had Clive Owen, and he wasted it.
Exactly.
And the last
which
one
is a cardinal sin.
Is Kids Bop Nap, which I have no idea what movie that is.
It's Kidnap.
What is
I have no idea.
It's that Halle Berry Taken movie.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, because I saw that, and it reminded me of that other Halle Berry movie where she was the 911 operator.
Yeah.
I worked for that company that produced that.
Somebody could splice together this movie with that movie where she's calling 911 speaking to herself.
Yeah.
When you started saying like the kidnapping one, kidnapping, I thought you might have meant for some reason that Jackie Chan movie, like Foreigner or something, which is essentially Taken. Except he's trying to find out about.
I have a feeling that's actually gonna.
No, I'm sure that's
go pretty
awesome.
well. It's weird that I don't remember the name of that Halle Berry movie because I worked at the front desk and there was a gigantic poster with like that lit up in the back that was right in front of me.
Was it When a Stranger Calls 911?
No, it wasn't.
Which is most calls to 911.
But I remember the original title of the movie was the Beehive or something like that because that's what they call that in the dispatch area.
That's a terrible name.
That's why they changed it to whatever it is now. I don't remember what. That movie's actually not that bad.
Is it called Dial Tone? M for Murder.
It's called One Call Away by Chingy. Yeah, I don't know. They made me watch it, and actually, it's actually not that bad. The CEO of the company thought it was like Oscar worthy, but
I mean, I think I can. I don't know if I speak for all of us, but I will say that like since starting this podcast, I feel like I have found the good and bad movies a lot more since we started.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because when they made us watch it, my direct supervisor was just like, "Hey, I don't care what you think about this movie, but when the CEO asks you, tell him you loved it because he thinks this is like the best movie ever." And I was like, duly noted.
I mean, I feel like in general, if you're like an intern somewhere and like the CEO asks like about the movie they made, you're gonna be like, yeah, it was good. At the very least.
You'd be like, well, I mean, I didn't watch it until you made me see it.
All right, who wants to draw first?
First Blood? I don't know. Well, he read them, so I'll do it. I'll pull first. I hope it's Emoji Movie versus Nut Job because I feel like that's the best possible
like the
matchup.
best matchup
because they're both animated. All right,
they're both like
God. I fucking hope I can
make sure you only grab one.
Yeah, no, I'm just mixing them up in my hand too.
I should have figured out which ones were ripped how, so I could like
finger them.
Dude, I want to see the Emoji Movie. I'll win if I get the Emoji Movie.
Okay.
Did you already look at
We
yours?
all no.
Okay,
we
good.
all win if we
go for it.
All right, so
Read
both
them.
Steve and I have drawn, and we are looking. Hold on, you're already looking. Say yours, Steve.
I got the Emoji Movie.
You son of a fucking
What do you
bitch.
have?
I hope I have Nut Job then. I've got the fucking Nut Job, dude.
Okay.
This is a match made in
But
heaven.
what symbols do you have on your...
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Oh, shit. There's symbols
There's
on
a
here.
twist.
Oh, my God. I've got a square. What do you have, Steve?
Technically also a square, but it's a diamond.
Well, then actually...
Oh, fuck. I'm seeing the Emoji Movie!
No! You son of a bitch!
It is designed so that no matter what, it was going to be Nut Job versus Emoji. I have conditional rules for everything, and in case
Charlie just pulled out a piece of paper so all of these little slips have tiny symbols on them, and he just pulled out a piece of paper that has 4 symbols. One is the Star of David. no,
just a star,
just a regular star. I know there's not enough points, I guess. A square, a triangle, and a diamond, and it's actually Nut Job, actually Emoji Movie, actually Emoji Movie, actually Nut Job. And so I guess on yours, yours was a diamond. So he made it so that no matter what we drew, it was Nut
and I
Job.
have the condition overlap has person with Nut Job or Emoji Movie written, keep the written, and only the other person makes a substitution were somebody to get.
Hold on, read that.
So like if somebody grabbed if somebody grabbed the Halle Berry one and it switched to Nut Job and the other person had the Emoji Movie one which switched to Nut Job, the Emoji person one would keep the Emoji person.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm glad it just didn't happen like that. So then I'd have to explain.
What a fucking twist. I loved that.
Damn it!
Damn.
I was excited though because I
Now
thought
I'm gonna have
top 10 anime betrayals. Dude.
It would have been so fucking funny, Tyler, if you had gotten the Emoji Movie slip and then you got it stolen away from you.
Fuck.
I was
It
like,
would be almost as if how I feel right now.
But he's been talking about wanting to see the Emoji
That's
Movie
true.
badly for a while.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
Now I have to watch fucking Nut Job 1 for this.
No, you don't. I've seen the sad thing about Nut
I think
Job.
I've seen Nut Job.
Oh shit, never mind. That's Over the Hedge.
Nah, you're right.
Dude,
That's what I've seen too.
I like. Well, no. This one time I can't remember what I was seeing, But I went to go see some movie, and I was just trashing the nut job in like the line. And then,
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. You talked about it earlier.
And this like I was just like making fun like how it looked so terrible, and then like
and then somebody turned around and said, "I directed that."
No. There was like this dad and this kid that were right in front of me, and they went up, and the dad, in the most defeated tone humanly possible, was like, 2 for the nut job, and like gave me a look over his shoulder, like knowing how bad it was going to be.
He had one of those like cartoon sigh things come out of his mouth when he looked at you.
To be fair, he probably would have already looked like that, regardless of if you were there or not.
I mean, he did have a child, so.
That was great. That was a good joke, Steve.
I'm joking. Children are fine.
All right. I want to watch this trailer.
Yeah, no, these... Man, I'm so fucking happy. All right.
Go to hell.
Well, now I kind of...
It would have happened either way. Sorry, it was purely random.
This might have to...
No, it's fine.
This might have to be kind of like what Charlie and I did for King Arthur and Mummy. We might have to just see both these together. Yeah, we might have to do that. All right, I got the trailers pulled up.
You'd have to watch Nut Job first, because if you see the Emoji Movie, then it's like, fucking shit, we gotta see
so
Nut Job too.
Over the Hedge is the one that was Steve Carell and Avril Lavigne then.
Yeah.
Okay, then I definitely
I liked Over the Hedge.
Yeah,
I just don't remember.
Well, Nut Job came out only like a couple years ago.
Well, and then Ben Folds edited. He like redid Rockin' the Suburbs,
yes.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was really good
for Over the Hedge, where it was like.
He updated the
lyrics like kind of related to Over the Hedge.
And then like the bands and stuff he kind of updated.
And he probably doesn't scream fuck in the song.
That also does not occur. No, but like
he does twice now.
But like the artists for like Rockin' the Suburbs, like Blank always did. He kind of updated those when he did it.
Oh yeah, you're right. And and he probably doesn't say shitty tracks or whatever.
He does not.
Yeah, it's probably more kid friendly. All right, so I'm about to sneeze, so we're gonna watch these trailers. Damn it went away.
Now,
and we're back from the sneeze.
To be fair, Steve, I really don't want to see either of these. So, I honestly think it's a fair matchup.
No, it's a totally fair matchup.
It is funny that we both thought that we had seen Nut Job. It's like, no, that was Over the Hedge.
All right, let's watch.
That should have given you a little more courage. Like,
that was... I forgot how rough that was.
I'll give this, though. I think the animation in Emoji Movie looked better than the Nut Job 2.
Yeah. I mean, the Emoji Movie is like... It looks like Inside Out, but with like a much shittier concept.
Yeah.
It looked better. The Nut Job didn't look bad to me. It just looked standard.
Yeah,
it doesn't look as bad as that fucking animated pirate movie from like a year or so ago.
Oh my god,
that random company.
Yeah, just called Pirates.
God,
I don't know what you're talking about. That's
wait. That was a while ago. Like the one that I was thinking of was a while ago, and it was like claymation. Are you thinking of something different?
No, it wasn't claymation. It was just like a independent company made an animated movie, and it was that.
Oh no! I know what you're talking about now.
I need to find that to show you.
Look it up.
I don't remember. Take some digging.
I think that the Nut Job animation was standard enough that it kind of looked a little bad to me.
I mean, I think it's one of those weird things where I think they're kind of stylizing it away from the other stuff.
Yeah, I feel
it. But like that, it can still look bad.
Yeah, but the emoji animation looked pretty decent. I think
it also helped that the Emoji Movie was just a lot brighter. Like the colors were.
This is gonna be like probably a really dumb critique, but the audio editing for the Emoji Movie was kind of bad. Like it just kind of sounded like them, like TJ Miller talking in a booth.
I mean, and then, that's what voiceover work is.
Yeah, no, I know that, but as in they just drag and dropped that audio over. They didn't like try to make it sound like it was a part of the actual like character. You know what I mean? Because I guess sometimes that happens a lot with animated movies where they literally just take the voice of the actor just talks, and then they take his voice and just put it in. It's like you have to give it some kind of like something to make it just sound at least like it was
like it's where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I'd say about that. I mean, obviously Sir Patrick Stewart's in my movie, so I already won. And he plays the shit emoji. Imagine that pitch. Like, how did it... my lifelong dream.
someone pitched that, and then like Patrick Stewart accepted that pitch.
Yeah, the question is, did he accept it before or after he read the script?
I mean, I feel like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't get better if you know what the character is. It doesn't get better if you read the script.
You're using character so generously.
And I mean, I feel like there's not much to say about these trailers. They're just both very...
Let's not forget about Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
coming in for the nut job.
I thought that it was. Yeah, I did not recognize it was Jackie Chan's
surprised
voice.
there wasn't a fucking gong after he was done talking.
Yeah, it's Charlie. You said this very. It was a very apt description. It's like they told Jackie to ham up his accent because I was like, is this not a like Asian actor?
Yeah.
Like, is this?
Tyler thought it was super racist, like even more racist.
I was like, holy shit! And you both were like, that. I think that might be Jackie Chan. And I was like, fuck. I mean, it only kind of sounds like him to me. And then it said special,
Maybe he's just spent so much time in America that he's adapted our accent. He's like, fuck, I gotta relearn it. Oh, shit, dude.
And then he watched Phantom Menace. He's like, wait, this is how we talk, right?
Ah, the Viceroy Gunroy.
Oh, I shouldn't even imitate him. I don't know what I'm doing.
Sure, if you're imitating somebody else's imitation, it's fine.
Fair, I guess. I mean, if
the blast shields.
We are very sorry. It's so fucking bad. Like,
don't forget the slanted goggles they have over there.
Yep. The Georgicas.
I also heard that speaking like we kept on joking about Arnold Schwarzenegger being the person who was actually doing the voice for Jackie Chan's character.
I mean, yeah, I made that joke once.
No, but I actually read that he had his accent fixed, but he like kept it. Like he went back to using it because like it's what people expected from him. Because he became a famous actor. He went to speech classes and stuff and fixed it.
And I made the joke. I didn't flesh out the joke, but I liked the idea that it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, but then he has a line of dialogue that's California, but that one word he goes California.
Let's get back to California.
Yeah,
he just breaks into all of his Mr. Freeze dialogue for no apparent reason.
Cool,
but it's all nut puns.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we've tapped into what they're doing for the third.
So they just used his personal text message and voice messages.
So it's made. Looks like we've got to bust a nut.
Oh god.
To leave, or ejaculate, doesn't matter.
I'm trying to think of like a "I'll be back" joke, and the only thing I could think of was "I'll come on your back," and I was like,
"I'll be nutsack."
That's not bad.
That's not great though.
I mean, I feel like it's better than mine.
Yeah,
I almost
none of it's great
because I didn't want to say mine without prefacing that I was trying to think of. Again, our stand-up routines. No, yeah, you guys didn't show up to my open mic. I was real upset. I told everybody.
I'm not going to stay after my set.
Sorry, I went to a different coffee house.
Yeah,
his basement.
Everybody was confused when I didn't have a guitar in my hand. People just kept shouting "Vindicated" to me.
Still sang Wonderwall, just karaoke style.
Yeah, that was
little acapella.
Yeah, I guess Wonderwall would have been a better joke. I just like "Vindicated" to me is just a better joke in general.
Like your favorite song to just
it is
reference.
One time I was sitting like within the distance more Steve, this distance, listeners, that distance, and
it's
and
about
this guy
the length of a table.
And this guy was playing, and I just said, "Play Dashboard Confessionals," and he said, "I already did," and I said, "Was it Vindicated?" And he said, "No," and I went, "Play that."
Get to work. You did one of the.
He didn't.
Chop.
He didn't play it. He played some other bullshit emo stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
bullshit.
He was like, "This is cute is what we aim for," and I don't know. That's another band that I feel like is in that genre. I've never listened to them. I don't know why I said that. Yeah. So those trailers. I feel like These are ones that I feel like you almost have to see them yourselves.
I'm gonna go watch Over the Hedge 2 on accident.
Was there a sequel?
I think so.
You'd probably be able to get away with talking about it. I'm not gonna fucking know.
No, you're like halfway through. You're gonna be like, Steve, there seems to not be a lot of nuts going on in this film.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, so how was Will Arnett's performance? And Steve's gonna be like, actually,
Steve Carell was great.
Yeah. William Shatner blew it out of the park.
Blue is not.
Yeah.
You keep forgetting to say away.
Yeah, these are those ones that you just kind of have to watch. I mean, it's hard to make fun of something that is just so like it all just seems like
nothing there.
It just seems like low hanging fruit.
I think we'll find a way.
I mean, we will eventually, but we're gonna have to watch all of this film to get there.
Yes.
I finally sneezed, guys.
God.
I know everybody was worried.
With bated breath, our listeners were.
I can finally sleep tight tonight.
So moving on to just other stuff. Have you guys watched anything since? I know it's not that long since we last recorded, but have you watched anything that maybe you want to bring up? I have something if you want me to bring that up first.
I don't. My actual thing that I actually like is something. It's something
you've been watching.
No, it's something that I'm interested in.
Okay.
That I haven't gotten to watch yet.
Okay.
So
well,
that's what mine is. Too,
okay. Well, I actually I
saw the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
You just forgot.
And then he goes into his pitch right now. Like
I got with Amazon Prime there was like a free Stars trial or something like that, so I did that, and then one of the movies that came with it was that newer Ghostbusters movie, and I had nothing going on yesterday, as previously stated.
The female
Answer the Call, yes.
Okay.
And so I was like, you know what?
Is that actually on there now? Answer the Call.
It was at the very end in the credit, like when the credits started, like it said Ghostbusters Answer the Call, then the credits went.
But it didn't say it like
not at the beginning.
Actually, I don't know if it said Ghostbusters at the end. It said Ghostbusters at the beginning, I'm pretty sure. But then at the end, when the credits started, and Steve, you saw it in theaters, right?
Yes.
That's one of those weird.
Did it say Answer the Call in the credits at all?
I believe.
Remember.
So.
Well, when the credits first started, like as in,
I think so, yeah.
Because there's a few scenes throughout the credits.
Yeah, they do some.
But when
that's
like
where like a lot of the cameos
when they're
come in.
when they're like, hey, the movie's pretty much over, credits start, it said Answer the Call, and then it went into like credit stuff, and so I was like, hey, you know what, it's here, it's free, I got nothing to do, I'll go in on it, let's see what's up. And it was actually pretty much all right.
I think that's what the consensus seems to be.
It was
honestly, I probably would have really liked it if it wasn't for Melissa McCarthy's character.
I honestly think
shocker, that's the way for a lot of things.
I think all the cameos were the worst part.
I don't know. I liked them. I didn't like Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd's.
Dan Aykroyd's was the fucking worst.
Yeah.
It was so... Dan Aykroyd...
Isn't he a cabbie in it or something?
Yes, and he has the worst New York accent ever. And he's like, hey, lady. And she's like, no, I need the cat. There's ghosts. And he's like, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And then drives off. And you're like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I liked Ernie Hudson. I liked Ernie Hudson and Sigourney Weaver's.
Those were the two... Yeah, those were the better ones. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray's were both... Because at least Sigourney Weaver and Ernie Hudson were after credits, so they didn't really matter. But they like tried to make Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray's like part of the story. They definitely
tried to make Bill Murray part of the story.
Yeah, but Bill Murray's thing about
it was just over.
Yeah, his cameo meant nothing. It meant as much as Dan Aykroyd's, but they gave him more screen time.
Yeah.
He's like a doctor that's like, no, you guys are... He's like, you guys are fake. Ghosts aren't real. And he says that like 3 or 4 times, and then he's just gone for the rest of them. He gets killed, I'm pretty sure.
No, yeah,
And that's actually... at least his death is a great Chris Hemsworth line, where he gets... because they just capture a ghost, and he's like, okay, well then show me. And they release the ghost, and the ghost grabs him and flies out the window and drops him. And Chris Hemsworth goes... Hey, that guy went out the wrong door. And I will say, there were Melissa McCarthy's. I think that
no, it's because that scene where they're trying out the weapons.
That's the worst fucking.
I remember that from the trailer.
Yes, and I will say, all of the worst bits are in the trailer.
Yeah,
all of the worst bits are in.
Sounds like good marketing.
It's shocking because, I mean, dude, that Ed Begley Jr. joke was fucking pristine. I loved that shit. I mean, it's been out for a while. If you haven't been like wanting to watch it, it's a joke where Ed Begley Jr.'s character comes in and he's like, hey, I need you to come to this place because it's haunted, and I know that you guys do ghosts. And they're like, no, fuck you. But then they end up going there, and Zach Woods...
Is this the Irish thing?
No.
Well, I mean, it's around that time.
And then Zach Woods...
I think I remember you telling me
Zach
about that,
Woods
Steve.
sees them trying to go into this place, and he's like, hey, guys, don't go in there. And they go talk to him, and they're like, what are you doing here anyway? And she's like, well, Ed Begley came and told us... Obviously, his character's name isn't that, but they're like, Ed Begley came and told us to come here. And he's like, Ed Begley? And she's like, yeah, he talked to me. And he goes, he's been dead for 15 years. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then Ed Begley literally just walks into frame. And Zach Woods doesn't bat an eye. And Kristen Wiig goes, what? Who's that? And he goes, oh, that's Ed Begley Jr. His father died. And she's like, obviously I was talking about him. That was the build up for that and the delivery of that was
good.
Great.
I like the tour at the very beginning with I don't know I don't know his name.
Zach Woods is.
Is that Zach Woods?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Of Office and Silicon Valley fame.
Yes.
And there's also a scene later where they're like trying to convince a guy not to kill himself, and Melissa McCarthy is like, "Hey, life has a lot of great things. Soup's pretty awesome." She goes, I don't know why I can only think of soup. Somebody help me out. And Leslie Jones goes, salad. That made me laugh a little bit. It had jokes peppered throughout that were pretty good. Typically I don't like Melissa McCarthy, but I think it's because of the whole Kevin James syndrome where it's like, oh, she's fat and she's falling over.
We've talked many times on this podcast that she's funny when it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
that.
And so her character, like, delivers great jokes, and then Kristen Wiig doesn't have any of those stupid like singing. Yeah, exactly. She doesn't have any of those dumb moments. What's her name? Kate McKinnon has a moment where they're like, "Hey, go check out if there's a dead body in here," and she's like, "I can think of 7 uses for a cadaver right now." and they're like, "No, we need to take it back if it's in the hearse. We need to." It was fine. There were a lot of like, oh Jesus Christ, like them shooting the ghost in the dick at the end.
Yeah, I read about that.
Was like, oh my God. And there were like some other things that were just like, oh, that's like so dumb.
I mean, that's what the whole situation around the movie sounded like. That's what it's gonna be. Anybody that's bashing it hard sounds like they're doing it for reasons that they might not be, but because it's an all-female cast and just seems like an unnecessary remake. And then people that overly praise it seem like they're doing it for the exact same reasons, and it's going to end up being a movie. It's just like, it's just okay.
I think it's definitely just all right.
Yep.
Like, I would say...
I didn't like the big dance number. That I thought
Wasn't that in the credits?
It was in the credits, but they like... Apparently that scene cost like $3 million to do.
Yeah, well, then they set it up in the movie.
And then they don't do it because it I don't know.
It would have been weird, yeah. Well,
did those little yellow aliens come in from Men in Black?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're just chatting it up. And
that's where the $3 million came from.
Drinking coffee.
I mean, it was definitely all right. Especially if you like these actresses, fucking go all in and watch this shit. Yeah. Like you'd love it.
Dude, Kate McKinnon killed. Like I thought she was really funny.
Yeah, she was great. I wish she had more to do. I think that she was kind of underutilized because I think Kate McKinnon herself is a very great comedic actress. Like she's one of the highlights of SNL currently, and she's.
I don't know. I think it. Sorry to cut you off,
go for it.
But it's. I think it's like some of the side characters in Scrubs, or like if you use them too much, like the novelty kind of wears thin.
Yeah, maybe because there were things where. I didn't think everything she did was funny. There were times where I was like, when she was dancing when they first moved into the Chinese place, that was pretty funny. Because Kristen Wiig was like, oh, what are you? Because she's like dancing with the torches. And she's like, oh, don't. And something catches on fire. She's like, oh, are we? But she's still just like dancing like normal. She's like, that's on fire. What is she's good at being like just a crazy weird person. And yeah, I mean, Melissa McCarthy wasn't bad. It made me want to go on Spy. I've seen bits of Spy, and it's pretty funny, mainly because, I mean...
That supporting cast.
Yeah, though. Jason Statham...
Wait, is Kate McKinnon Spy?
And Jude Law, right?
It's Melissa McCarthy and Paul Feig is the director of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Paul Feig was the director.
But it kind of like, after finishing the movie, it just kind of blew my mind that literally all the worst bits were in the trailers. Like, the power of Patty compels you. Like, that shit's awful to me. And that's in the trailer. And then the ghost on Leslie Jones's shoulders is kind of dumb. That's in the trailer.
See, I didn't think that was that bad, but I did think it got like seeing it in the trailer all the time was kind of like, okay, like the scene's going on too long because of how much I've seen part of it.
That might be part of it. But yeah, it was definitely fine. If you're, it probably helps that I'm not like overly connected to the other two Ghostbusters movies.
Right.
Like
I grew up on those. Like I dressed up as like Ray for Halloween one year. Like,
Romano.
Yeah.
Well, he heard everybody loved him.
Yeah.
And so he was like, well,
to my surprise, when I dressed up as Ray Romano,
it didn't change a thing.
No one cared. As a matter of fact, they took candy from me on Halloween. I would show up and I was like,
yeah, I mean,
treat.
I remember
just reached in and took candy.
I remember when I was a kid, it was something that I liked. Like, it was cool. Like, the idea of it was cool. But I just think it's, I mean, maybe the remake was unnecessary. Maybe this movie is unnecessary to exist. But I mean, at that point, it's like, then what movie is necessary to exist? Like, it's not. And then, I mean,
Emoji movie.
Sure, the original Ghostbusters movies are good, but it's like, are they really that good that you're like, oh, you untouched? I don't know. And I mean, it was nice seeing, the Harold Ramis cameo as one of the ghosts.
Yeah. That reminds me, like when
they fucking kill him again.
When Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter came out, my mom was like, "Is nothing sacred?" I was like, "Is Abraham Lincoln sacred?"
I would say so. Well, I'm not saying whether he should or should not be, but I would say as far as like American historical figures, he is one of the most sacred figures.
He's sacred in the
That's
history
not me
of
saying
America.
he should,
yeah,
but I'm saying he definitely is. But no, go for that movie. I don't care.
But still, yeah, that's still a. What do you mean?
No, it's just like when she said it, I was like, Is the Lincoln Memorial crying blood and I'm not aware of it?
And it's also not shitting on Abraham Lincoln. If anything, it's upping the legend.
That reminds me, I can watch the 2001 Planet of the Apes through the stars.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I'm going to go back in on that.
I wish I could remember that shit because I saw it in theaters. But
come over, let's watch it.
Might have to.
That might, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about premium content. We might do we might do episodes on
talking about premium content. 2001 Planet of the Apes.
We might do. Well, I think we could do episodes on just a specific movie,
the
like
entire
not just
filmography of Mickey Rooney's career.
Oh, that's that, dude. We'd have to charge too much for.
I don't want to get on an FBI watch list.
All right, so let's go to stuff we actually like. Steve, top us off because you guys said you don't have anything that you watched.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, and I guess this kind of is more of a piquing my interest thing from our Sexy Cousin podcast. But
and boy, are they!
Yes, I've been seeing the trailer on YouTube for this new like Get Shorty TV show.
Oh, I just saw a thing about that today.
Yeah, it's
with Ray Romano.
Oh, yeah, I was figuring Martin Short.
No, it's got Ray Romano, and the lead is Chris O'Dowd. So I'm really excited. I
Wait,
really
Chris O'Donnell?
No, Chris O'Dowd.
You wish it was Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Dowd's from IT Crowd and from Bridesmaids. A lot of people probably know him best from. He's the cop, the Irish cop in Bridesmaids.
But he's really funny, and basically what it seems like is he and someone that he knows, they work. They make it seem like it's a factory, but they also kind of do a little bit of light enforcement work for some sort of shady character. And they end up going to some guy who was trying to finance his movie through blackjack, but he ran up a loan shark, and now they were there to collect, and they end up killing him and taking the movie that he was trying to make, and now he's trying to make it. And so he's using his kind of like unsavory connections to kind of force people to do his movie.
I know some bad motherfuckers in craft services.
Well, like there's a scene where I think it's a woman from a production agency, and he hands her an envelope, and there's a picture inside, and when she looks at it, he's like, "You're going to do this movie for me, or I'm going to ruin your life." I don't know what the picture's supposed to be.
Jesus, probably a kid or something.
Are those bad? Are they bad at craft services, or are they? Because I've seen some pretty shitty craft tables, like. Real shitty craft service tables.
Just craft singles.
Yeah.
Crafts service table.
I'm telling you, I had a call time at like fucking 3 a.m. one time, and it was the worst table. It's like you could at least have some good fucking food if we gotta be
only
here
cheese ones.
Why did you have to be there for 3 in the morning?
It was some
porno.
Yeah, some porno. No, it was a web series I did boom up for. I don't even know if it ever even fucking released, but. IMDb is part of my credits.
There you go.
Neat.
Hey, we're all 3 on IMDb, though.
We are.
That is true.
Charlie, so what was the name of that show again?
It's called Get Shorty.
Yeah.
Get Shorty. It's like a weird sequel to Get Short.
I think it's like a spiritual successor.
Oh, is it really?
I don't know, because I don't know if it's connected.
Okay.
I just
Well,
know like
the thing I saw this morning said they were both based off a book.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's like another book in the series or something.
Okay. Cool. I mean, that was just a dumb joke, but yeah.
No, yeah.
If it's actually...
And I don't know. Like, I didn't have time to watch it.
So when does
earlier.
Steve Carell show up, or The Rock?
I don't know if I didn't get to watch it, but I'm pretty sure on
Wait,
YouTube.
The Rock was in it?
In the movie.
Yeah.
I thought he was in. I thought that was Be Cool.
No, he was in Get Short.
Oh, okay.
The
Anyway.
weird like remake with Steve Carell.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was one of the workers at the.
Anyway, I think one of the ads on YouTube was like the entire first episode. Like, because like I was watching someone on YouTube, like I was watching,
And it's like hour-long ad.
yeah, it was like 59. It was like counting down
Skip
from
this
59
shit.
minutes, and I was just like, I kind of want to watch this show, but
That's
I
weird.
don't have time for an hour ad.
Yeah, that's. Yeah,
Trying to watch Yankat for 10 hours.
Yeah, I don't got time for 1 hour of something else.
Charlie, what do you got?
Okay, so I saw a trailer recently for a show called American Vandal. Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Okay, well, we'll have to watch the trailer. Would we want to do it now?
Nah,
Okay.
I'll pull it up after.
So it is a Netflix show that is, like,
I know what you're talking about.
Making a Murder and all that stuff. All those shows are really hot right now, like the OJ show and all those ones, just about like American crime and about serial killers.
There's even
and
that
stuff.
David Lynch show it's not a it's
Twin
a
Peaks.
drama. No, David Fincher. My bad, not David Lynch.
There's one about the Unabomber coming out.
There's a David Fincher show that's not a documentary, but it's based off a true story of the guys that Steve, have you not seen it? It's like some these guys about psychological like they
I know what you're talking about. They like start the FBI.
They like pretty
programming
and
the
they
profiling program.
Yeah, and they pretty much coined the term serial killers and stuff like that. It looks really
So
interesting.
all that stuff
But
is
that stuff's hot.
it's
right
very
now.
trendy right now. So Netflix partnered up with College Humor, and they make this
man.
American Vandal, and it's all about a crime story. And I won't tell you what the crime is now, but we can watch the trailer afterwards, and it looks so fucking funny.
That kind of reminds me of I think it might be Amazon or it might be Netflix. There's some streaming services doing something, and it's like Channing Tatum and Nick Offerman, and I forget the third person, but it is they filmed a show. And then they made it look like some like Russian, like old Russian TV show, and Channing Tatum and Nick Offerman and this other guy are doing like really shitty voiceovers over it. Like imagine if it's like
over their own characters.
No, they're not playing the characters; they're just doing the voices.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like
so weird.
Well, that one show that was on Spike that was the Japanese game show.
Most extreme elimination challenge.
Yeah, imagine that, but a TV show that's like a serial drama where it's these and so they're like clearly not taught. I'll probably pull that trailer up too. But it reminds me of that.
It's essentially like the subtitles game from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, it's like it's called like Comrade something. I don't remember, but yeah, it looks ridiculous. I'll probably pull it up afterwards with that. So what was the name of it again?
An American Vandal.
All right, so that's what you're.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really excited for it. That's like a day one watch for me.
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
I'm gonna do what I did last time. I'm gonna sneak in a little two here. One is gonna be something that I mentioned Dark Souls last time. I kind of want to throw it in. I think I might have mentioned it last time as well. This guy named Epic Name Bro on YouTube. He does series. They're kind of like Let's Plays of all the Dark Souls related stuff, and he did one that I'm currently pretty much just watching fully of the first Dark Souls game, and it's really interesting. What he does is he goes through and pretty much gets every single dialogue encounter with any NPC, reads out the lore of any item, like he shows
Full
you.
completionist.
Yeah, it's like the quote unquote. He calls it the quote unquote ultimate guide, where it's just like, hey, this is everything. I'm doing everything to make sure I get all the dialogue. I'm doing everything to make sure to get all these items to show you guys. And it's really interesting. At this point, I'm way farther than him in the game, what I'm watching. So I'm not like
you're not.
I'm not really
like
I'm not like cheating, being like, oh, that's what I do to beat that guy. But it's still like really cool. I talked about the lore of the game, I'm pretty sure last time, where it's just cool, like learning more about what's going on and all these weird things. So I would say, even if you don't want to play Dark Souls, because it can be pretty hard, unforgiving, and hard to get into.
It's one of those games that's like, if you're not really invested in wanting to play it, you're gonna check out.
Yeah, it's I will say it is hard to get into. I got into it because I bought it and then played it and didn't play it for a few more months after that. But I got into it because the people that I work with all played it on their lunch breaks and we're in the same room, all that stuff. So that helped. But I would say it's a game that's fun to watch. I know that landlord Kevin watches me play it. He likes watching me play it. So if you're just interested at all, Epic Name Bro, Dark Souls Through the Dark, he does all of them and all that stuff. But on I recently just got in on the stuff I actually like, Ash versus Evil Dead. I know you guys showed up and I was in the middle of an episode. It's just as funny and just as, ridiculously gory and just as dumb and just like everything about, and creepy too. Like,
I've only seen the first Evil Dead, and I liked it. It was on I watched it on Netflix, but I haven't seen. Okay. I'm like behind. There are lots of people that would probably hurt me physically for saying that I haven't actually seen Army of Darkness.
Have you seen Evil Dead 2?
No.
So I was watching Evil Dead 2 last night. I went to bed before I finished it, but I think either it's more than likely the disc tray on my Xbox is like totally fucked, because I've had that Xbox One since launch pretty much.
Yeah.
And you know how disc trays are. I'm pretty sure that thing's fucked because like sometimes it won't show picture and it won't. So I watched like half of it last night. And then I went to bed and I tried to watch it today, but it like didn't remember where I was. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just go back in on Ash vs. Evil Dead. I haven't seen Army of Darkness. I haven't finished Evil Dead 2. But I know that, Steve, I talked to you and I mentioned that I was watching it. And you said that you've heard that people said it was like unnecessarily gory or something.
Yeah.
Which is funny because then I was watching Evil Dead 2.
That shit I saw today was hilarious.
Yeah, no, and then...
But like, isn't that like the point?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of. And I was watching Evil Dead 2, and I sent you a video where it was literally just a scene of Bruce Campbell's character. Like, there's a hole in the wall, and it just starts shooting out blood that's like... I mean...
It's basically like every like kids show from Nickelodeon where they be like, look through that hole, and then they like look through it and just slime.
Yeah.
Puts them on the ground.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And... yeah, it's part of the comedic, campy-ish effect, and then that Sam Raimi, I mean, he's known for that shit. That's what he did with all three of those movies, and he directed the first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead, not Army of Darkness. But I think it's pretty funny because it continues that character enough that, I mean, the reason all of the dead are back is because he got really drunk one night and he was with a chick and he opened up the book and read it with her. He's like, hey, check this out. and it was funny because earlier in the first episode, he goes to a bar and he brings the book with him, and he's like, "Hey, by the way, this many years ago, I saved the world, so I commemorate it. You want to drink with me?" And they end up, having sex. But then she like turns into a dead for a little bit, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he goes back home, and he still has the book. And he's like, "Oh, it's good, but it has something in it." And I think it might be like a bag with weed in it or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But he remembers how he read it with this girl, when he was really drunk. And after that memory, he just goes, "Fuck." And then it cuts to the intro of the show.
That's funny.
And yeah, it's been a pretty funny. I've only watched 2 episodes so far, and I think that I'm gonna renew my Star subscription just to go through. I think there's 2 seasons so far, and the third one's coming out soon. Bruce Campbell is just... I mean, that's... I told my girlfriend, I think he's like Nathan Fillion in the fact that he's just classically handsome. He just is a good-looking guy.
Strong jawline.
Yeah, no matter how old he is, he just looks good. And then, in Burn Notice, he's like a goddamn inspiration because he wears a Hawaiian shirt all the fucking time.
And not only that, but
because he's in Burn Notice.
Well, dude, first of all, I love that show.
I know.
Second of all,
a lot of people love that show.
In that show, despite him being perpetually in a Hawaiian shirt, women just throw themselves. There's a scene where at one point
Just
like he's
spite.
Yeah, no, I don't know what he's talking about here.
There's a scene where
I've gotten
Gabriel
compliments
Anwar's
about
character,
Hawaiian shirts I wear.
Gabriel Anwar's character, like at some point he like says something, and she just looks at him and goes, "What do you do to these women?" And he just like gives her this smile, and she goes, "Don't answer that question."
Steve, I don't know if you were here earlier. I told Charlie was here when I said this, but there's a scene where he goes. There's like this new girl at work, and he goes up to her, and he's
at
like,
S-Mart? Is he still working at S-Mart?
Yes. And he's like, "Hey,"
which despite not seeing those movies, I know that.
He's like, "Tell your mom that I said thank you because she passed on those good genes." And she goes, "My mom died 6 months ago." And he's like, "Oh man, wow, that's quite a bomb to drop on somebody you just met. Maybe next time just say thanks. That's pretty rude."
Oh my god!
And I mean, I don't know, it's pretty fucking funny. It's like,
I mean, it's funny in the idea,
maybe just
like
take the
as
compliment.
like no one should ever actually say that.
Yeah. He's like maybe just take the compliment and say thanks. But then he like tries to like he doesn't have a hand.
Yeah,
like one of his hands, and it's like a wooden thing.
Is he still using the chainsaw?
Mm-hmm. But he has a wooden hand on it, and he tries to like do the whole like move her hair to the side, and she's like, "What are you doing? Don't touch me." He's like, but then he does one of those things where he's just like, at some time you would have thought, because he's like leaving the work, so he's like, "Yeah, sorry, this will never happen." She's like, "Ew, gross." And he's like, you would have thought about it at some point, like it would have crossed your mind, like, "Oh, I wanna hook up with this guy." And he's like, "So yeah." And then later in the episode, she says something because he like saves her life, and he goes, "Told you it was gonna cross your mind." It's just like this weird, like creepy suaveness that he's able to just act like the way he portrays it. It's funny, and it's like
it's not like this is a person to look up to.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a piece of shit, but at the same time, I mean, it's his fault that the dead are coming back, but he's still like, "Well, I gotta solve this.
You gotta do what you gotta do."
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really enjoying that so far. But yeah, I guess that's all. Do we got anything else to say? I guess because I think we're about a week away now. We are going to be at Charlie. I know you've been wanting to promote this. You want to go ahead?
Oh, I was thinking it'll be something cool that August 25th, right?
Yes.
We'll see The Room at midnight at the Tivoli Theater on the Del Mar Loop. And the good, bad guys will be there along with all of us. And,
Brian Shilgo and Kyle Hinton.
Yeah,
they will be there as well. We're gonna meet up with them. We're gonna hang out, and I think we've said it on previous casts. We're gonna throw out something on the Twitter. I'm sure they will as well. Facebook as well. If you're in the area, the St. Louis area,
even if you're not coming to the film. Like come
sure.
and grab a beer.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind hanging out. It'd be cool just, hanging out with people that like listening to the cast. And then
for sure.
Also, I mean, I feel like we should have overlapping fans because the good, bad, or bad, their stuff's great about bad, weird movies that are just. So if you like our cast and you haven't watched one of their YouTube
I would
videos,
highly recommend
I would say go ahead and go on in on one of them. Probably one of the Neil Breen ones.
Yeah,
is the
top.
if you were a '90s kid, watch the Three Ninjas one.
Oh. They did do a Three Ninja one. That's right.
Yes, they did.
And
it was glorious.
Because I remembered a lot of it because I used to watch the movie a lot when I was a kid. Like the fight that they did inside of the house or whatever. I was like, oh shit! I weirdly
that
remember
house
all of
must
this.
have been gigantic.
I would highly recommend watching one of their videos. And again, we'll be out with them. It's going to be August 25th.
Yep.
I'm guessing. we got work, but probably. 9-ish, something. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know
we'll
times.
Have more details. Later.
We don't know times, but I'm sure we're gonna try to get at least a little tipsy before we go and watch this movie.
I mean, we're gonna have to interact with Time. No, I'm joking. Time Wise, it was gonna be a vision.
I'd rather not be in control of myself around him in terms of like vulnerability.
You might get cast as the lead in a film.
No, that'd be awesome. I don't want to get I don't know. He probably will.
What
not
if it
grope
turns out to
anybody,
be James Franco, but he doesn't break character and he's just Tom Wiseau the whole time?
That'd be disappointing to me. I'd rather see the real guy.
I agree. It would be kind of weird being like, hey, no, I mean, I loved you in Spider-Man. and he would break character then because he'd be like, "Oh my god, nobody's ever said that to me."
He'd be super shocked. You remembered that I was in that?
He's like, I mean,
nobody forgets Proto Goblin, dude.
127 hours is pretty much what everybody says to me. But yeah, come hang out with us. We'll throw it up and be like, hey. And I mean, it might be. I mean, if you know one of us, I feel like we have a good amount of fans that listen that we don't directly know. So if you
there has to be. I do not know this many people.
If you come up, just be like, hey, I listen to the podcast. It's not going to be weird. Like, just it sounds like an awkward thing to say, but it won't be. Like, we'll be like, okay, cool. What's your name? And we'll want to meet you. We'll
let us know who you are. Don't just sit down. That would be weird.
Yeah. Don't just sit next to one of us.
Don't do that. Don't do the AC Slater from Saved by the Bell and turn a chair around and just sit on it backwards.
Well, shit. No, if they did that, then I'd be like, this motherfucker's cool as shit.
I mean, if you're gonna do that to somebody, you have to initiate with physical contact before they see you.
Yeah. Just come up to us. And we have pictures of us on the Facebook page and stuff, and our profile picture on the Twitter is us all at the old place, yes. The old recording booth. But yeah, don't feel shy about introducing yourself. If you do, tweet us. Like when we tweet the location, be like, hey, I'm gonna be coming up. And I mean, I'm fine with being like, oh hey, are you so and so? So it's cool. Yeah, if you want. But yeah, so August 25th. We'll put it out.
If you're coming from overseas, we'll help you with
Jesus Christ. I'd be like...
we will not.
I think if from overseas, I'd be like, do you need a place to stay?
But I'm not helping them come over.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're not paying expensive. For their ticket. There's a limit to my... I have no money. I have zero money.
Other than that, thanks to Scott Blackwell for the image. Thank you to Three Wise Media. Check out Three Wise Radio. They do some great stuff. They've been doing a cosplayer of the month, where at the end of each month they interview a cosplayer and they showcase that cosplayer on Instagram and stuff like that, on their Facebook page. It's pretty cool. Like, and it's cool hearing the stories. It's kind of funny because everybody pretty much starts cosplaying because they're like, well, I like dressing up at Halloween, and then I was like,
I want more than one day a year.
It's like, what excuse can I make to do this more? Which makes sense because I would totally do that shit. It's like, I like fucking making up costumes or doing whatever. Check them out. Also, like we mentioned, Good, Better, Bad, friends of the podcast, friends of the real life. Go check them out on YouTube. They're great. Beyond the Blast Door is another friend of the podcast. They do Star Wars stuff. They're great. They just go all in on Star Wars information.
Which reminds me, like a guy from school just got me in. Like I'm not like buying into it or anything yet, but there's a new Star Wars card game that came out, I believe, in November.
Okay.
That he's playing, and him and his friends are kind of letting me use their stuff to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if they mentioned it on their show, and I would say if he's got a question about it, tell him, show him Beyond Blast Doors. I mean, also it's a pretty dope name for a Star Wars podcast. Yeah. I feel like, or it's not really a podcast; it's a video cast, whatever. And then we don't really have any other. Yeah, those are the ones.
I believe that exhausts it all.
I'll actually say there is a friend of us has a podcast called Critical Misadventure, and it is Matt O'Mara. He's a part of this podcast, and it's a D&D podcast. They play D&D, and it's actually it's one of those. It's really well edited. The guy who edits it puts in a lot of sound effects, not VFX.
No, he puts in VFX.
And what a waste!
Just hours upon. It's like when they used to handwrite in the graphics on the old Batman show, but then just only played the audio for people. The classic thing that occurred.
So if you're looking for something like that, I'd say go check it out. Critical Misadventure. It's pretty fun. It's just a group of friends playing D&D.
And if I recall, Matt is brother of Landlord Kevin.
He is brother of Landlord Kevin.
Shit.
And then real like deep fans that watch the old that are on the Facebook page and have seen my initial reaction to Wonder Woman, that was with Madeline O'Mara. So, oh God, it's a family affair.
It's a real family affair.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know I'm fucking the entire family.
Well, that's not weird of you to say. Okay.
Bye.
Movie Versus is a production of Three Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.